Age gaps in relationships are more common than most people think. But why on earth would a guy date a woman twice or even twice his age? Well, we're not here to make a judgment, but let's just say it ain't only about true love. We leave the rest for you to discover in this list.
At number 7.
Why To Mama Tambien 2001. What begins as a seemingly run-of-the-mill road, the movie quickly turns into an exploration of friendship, love, and life itself in 2001's IEN, directed by Alfonso Cuarón. This heart-wrenching film focuses on the relationship between the two best and their mature, beloved two teenagers. Julio and UCH have just parted ways with their girlfriends. They embark on a trip across Mexico with a woman in her late 20s called Luisa. Along the way, the three become romantically involved, finding themselves in some very compromising situations. The age difference between the boys and Luisa isn't the only divide in the film. However, each scene in the movie drives the friends further apart, ending in Julio confessing he slept with his friend's mother.
Don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like.
At number 6.
The Graduate, 1967. That's how you feel about me, that I'm a sick and disgusting person. I don't start this. What Let's Start Acting Hurt, the film that launched Dustin Hoffman's career and became an icon of the comedy genre for years to come. 1967's The Graduate remains as one of cinema's most successful examples of a mill for romance. Flag Hoffman plays the role of Ben Braddock, a young college graduate that's grown disillusioned with his life. However, his love for the young and beautiful Elaine Robinson gives him a new purpose. That is until he meets Mrs. Robinson. Elaine's mom is a seductive woman who uses her womanly assets to drive Ben and Elaine apart. A charming coming-of-age story that teaches us that not every happy ending remains happy forever, and Bancroft plays the role of Mrs. Robinson, and her beauty and charm no doubt made her the subject of many fantasies in the regarded as one of the most influential films of the 60s. The Graduate could be seen as the anthem of an increasingly cynical youth. The quote, "Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me, aren't you?" will forever be etched into the annals of cinema history, and is a prime example of the awkward chemistry of most mill-related romances. The Graduate was highly praised by critics, even if some of the film's events could be considered somewhat out of touch by modern standards. That said, audiences still love Dustin Hoffman's awkward energy and Bancroft's alluring personality, as the film scores an impressive 8.0 out of 10 on IMDb.com.
At number 5.
Harold and Maude, 1971. Harold is a young man obsessed with death. Maude is an accepted Aryan concentration camp survivor who lives life to its fullest. This unlikely pair eventually fall for each other in Harold and Maude, an existentialist comedy, the likes of which could only have been made in the 70s. This movie bears the distinction of featuring the most significant age gap in ours. Harold is 19 years old when he meets and eventually falls in love with the Maude, who is 79. Despite the wacky antics seen in the movie, the plot is in fact a touching analysis of the value of life and how delicate and valuable each small moment can be. Harold and Maude's director, Hal Ashby, wanted to film a scene of the two lovebirds making love. However, Paramount Pictures vehemently opposed the idea. It could be said that this decision added an extra layer of cuteness to the relationship between the two, as it never was portrayed as a purely carnal affair. Vice virtue, it's best not to be too moral. You teach yourself out of too much life.
At number 4.
The Piano Teacher, 2001. Winner of 3 different awards at the Cannes Film Festival, 2001's The Piano Teacher stars Isabella Luber as Erica. Caught as an unmarried woman with a complicated history with men, Erica lives with her mother, and years of abuse have led her to become an emotional mess. Erica begins a relationship with one of her students, Walter. He's much younger than her, but that's just the tip of the iceberg for this dysfunctional. Erica's masochistic tendencies would be enough to drive most men 100 feet away from her. But not Walter. He's decided to stay by her side. Even as Erica grows more and more deranged, Pear's performance in this film is truly unique, being one of the most applauded elements of the film at Cannes. Both Nicole Kidman and Jessica Chastain and have mentioned the pair's performance in The Piano Teacher as an inspiration for their acting careers.
At number 3.
In the Bedroom, 2001.
There are dreams that cannot die. There are thoughts that make the strong.
Good luck with a name like In the Bedroom. You might already be guessing where this movie is going. Spicy names aside, this indie film directed by Todd Field is considered one of the best crime dramas of the early 2000s. Oh, and for the record, the bedroom in the movie's title refers to the rear compartment of a lobster trap. Exactly what we were thinking of in The Bedroom centers on college-aged Frank, the son of a seemingly happy marriage. However, Frank's parents are concerned with their son's beloved Natalie, who is an older divorced woman with 2 small kids and a violent ex-husband. Natalie is played by Marissa Tomei, an actress who's basically become the very definition of Mill so much. So in fact, it's become something of an inside joke in the newest MCU Spider-Man films, where Tomei plays an incredibly alluring version of it. Even Tony Stark himself couldn't resist Maude's charms, and it's quite easy to see why Frank that's a year. It's not gonna make that. No, you can't do that. Frank, why not?
At number 2.
Murmur of the Heart, 1971. It's completely normal for a kid to love his mother. Some of them, however, take it to dangerous extremes, such as the case of the young Law Shear in 1971's The Murmur of the Heart. Laha has a complicated relationship with his attractive Italian mom, Clara, and we don't mean complicated in a psycho sort of way. It's something much more edible. A coming-of-age, Dread's Murmur of the Heart was well received by French and American critics. Louis Malle, the writer and director of the film, have mentioned that the movie is autobiographical, but the incestuous relationship is only part of the story that's made up either way. This is definitely a film that you shouldn't watch with your mom.
At number 1.
The Mother, 2003.
I'm not ready for old age. I'm frightened.
This 2003 British drama has almost every kind of forbidden love under the sun. The plot centers around me, a mature woman whose life takes a turn when her husband dies unexpectedly during a visit to their adult children. May, played by Anne Reid, now has a chance to make her life anew in her golden years, taking up old hobbies and starting a passionate relationship with a handsome man, half her age, to make things worse. This man is also sleeping with May's daughter Paula, and he has a dark history of substance abuse and violence. So no, this might not be May's chance for her perfect fairytale romance after. Funded entirely by the BBC, The Mother received numerous award nominations, including an ALFS award for Anne Reid's performance May, which might have all the makings of a Mill. What with her renewed love for life, she also qualifies as the Even Rear Guild Score 1 for Daniel Craig for playing her a love interest in this film. Time for
With me. That man, the builder. Perhaps you could sort of find out how he's feeling about me.